Greetings, YouTube followers. This is John Demokis. Have you ever wondered how large are your aquarium fish? Join me in learning how I measure my aquarium fish and also under what situations this information is important. On a humorous note, I'm a fisherman. I've been a fisherman as long as I've been an aquarist. Somewhere along the line, like most fishermen, I inherited a tendency to exaggerate the size of the fish. And it's carried over, I must confess, into my fish keeping. So in any event, this is a method to help you get those measurements straight. Now, the process is pretty simple, and you start by guesstimating the size of your fish. And in this case, I guesstimated the size of my red-tailed giant gouramis were about 12 inches. So I cut a piece of painter's tape, easily to remove from the glass or acrylic. I cut the piece to exactly 12 inches. I adhered it to the front panel of the aquarium, and I just observed and waited for the fish to kind of line up against the piece of tape. Now, key point is perspective, and that is if the fish is a few inches away from the front glass or acrylic, it's going to make the fish smaller. So you have to just kind of watch for a while until the fish is at a location that's pretty darn close to the front of the glass. And in this particular case, it turned out I waited for the largest red-tailed gourami. I waited for him to be right up against the front panel, and he turned out to be about a foot, 12 inches in length. Now, if you need a smaller piece of tape or a larger piece of tape, just cut it and make an adjustment to improve the accuracy of your measurement. So again, seriously, why do you need to know the size of your fish? I think when you're making videos and on Facebook and YouTube, quite often you get asked what's the size of your fish, or you have to quote the size of your fish in your social media posts, and it's best to be accurate. Also, in figuring out the bioload in your aquarium, it's good to keep track of, the total size of all your fish, particularly when you're, for example, sizing your biofilter, your sump, or the number of hang-on backs or canisters that you need. And lastly, selling fish. I recently bought some dwarf gouramis that were quoted as being 1.5 inches, and when I got them, they were 3/4 of an inch. Sad to say they were all dead a few days later because they got beat up by the fish. So if you're ever selling fish, it's always good to give the buyer an accurate description of the size of the fish. So anyway, I hope this helps, and thank you for joining me, and look forward to your comments.